Hey guys, what's going on? In this video, we will be doing a plus 21 Halls of Infusion. We'll be watching in 1.5 times speed, just to make it a bit faster. So like the other videos, I'll be going over the dungeon mechanics and the dungeon affixes. So to start off, the affixes are Tyrannical, Afflicted, and Bolstering. Tyrannical increases boss damage and boss health. Afflicted causes spectrals to spawn, and they will cast an effect called Cry. If you can dispel them using a non-magic dispel, or you can heal them up. If the cast goes off, it's a 50% haste reduction for all enemies, and if 2 go off, that's 100%. So on to bolstering. Basically, every time a non-boss unit dies, nearby non-boss units gain a 20% damage increase, which keeps on stacking. So it can get a bit out of hand if you pull a massive group and you kill them one at a time. The stacks do fall off eventually, but let's get on to some of the mobs. So as you can see, there are some snake men and orcs. The orcs will jump around, causing swirlies. You basically just move them around. Snake men will cause a spear flurry, as you saw, and they will also cast a demoralizing shout, which will reduce all damage by 50%. So you want to make sure you interrupt that. Onto the contagion orb thingies. They do something called containment beam. You cannot interrupt this, so you have to stun or use some sort of CC to stop the cast. They also do something called expulse, which is interruptible. It's basically a massive AoE damage effect. You want to make sure you interrupt that. You can interrupt it with knockups as well. You cannot interrupt containment beam with a knockup, sadly. But yeah, Spear Flurry is a frontal on the tank, and it will cause a bleed effect on you, so try not to stand with your tank too much. The first hallway is definitely the hardest hallway in the whole dungeon. But on to the first boss, Watcher Iritus. Basically, what's going to happen is you're going to do a lot of AoE damage. Right here, Static Surge basically just pulsates AoE. Then he's going to do something called Power Overload. That will put 2 magical effects on people, as you see. They have to run out, and when it expires or is dispelled, it'll drop a puddle on the floor, and basically you run out. If you stack the effects, it's fine. You only get hit by 1 puddle at a time. And then all during this time, he's doing a Titanic Fist on the tank, and basically they just sidestep, and if you're in front, don't get hit, or else you get probably killed, but you'll get stunned as well. Now we're moving on to phase 2, or I guess intermission phase. He spawns 4 of these orb thingies. Basically, your tank has to pull them onto the boss, and you want to make sure you kill them on top, while within the AoE circle for the boss. Basically, if that hits the boss, it breaks down his shield. So I've never not killed them on top, so I don't know what would happen if you missed. I don't know if he spawns more or not. So if you want to find out, that'd be cool. But after this phase, Power Overload, actually, all of his effects deal increased damage and do more of effect. As you saw, Power Overload actually gets bigger. So you want to make sure you do that phase as fast as you can, and you want to make sure you're running Power Overload out as far as you can while stacking it, so you don't take up as much room on the platform. Because you can't actually run out of room, but you don't want to catch the entire group in the AoE effect. So as he goes down, you come up to a crossroads here. Typically, most groups go left. There's not much of a difference other than percent count. You get a bit more percent on the left side, which is why most groups will go. The percent's easy, and yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. You can make it up faster over here than you would pulling an extra group in the first hallway. But to watch out, there are shock troopers and stealth guys here. The zealots are in stealth. If they catch you while they're still stealth, they will cheap shot you and deal a lot of damage. If they cheap shot your tank, they probably won't kill them. They'll just have no aggro table to the tank. These dragonflies, they do a dazzle effect. It is, I believe, a frontal disorient. I've never really let one go off, but they do tend to fall through the floor, so be careful of that. If you do have one fall through the floor, don't worry, it happens a lot. Not sure why. I think it has to do with their like flying model. But we're on to the tiny little fixate frogs. Basically, as they attack you, they put poison dot, or not really a dot, but they put a poison effect on you. If that reaches 10, you will instantly die no matter what. And on to the Primalist Elemental Shock Trooper guy. They do a cast. I think it's Elementalist Enchantment or something. Basically, that enchants them so their auto attacks deal a chain lightning effect. If one goes off, it's going to hurt like hell, but it will not kill you. If two goes off, it probably will kill you. On to the Flame Caller Ima, or Imi? I don't know. She does a burst cast, which you want to interrupt. Also does a cauterize cast, which is a heal effect that you want to make sure you interrupt. That is main priority. Then she will cast Meteor on somebody. Basically, that will root someone in place. All a Meteor is trying to fall on top of them. So your healer has to dispel or a Paladin Freedom or something like that. And then you want to run the heck away before it falls on top of your head. Because I'm pretty sure you die, no matter what. But this wing guy does nothing. Just spawns some ads and jumps around. On to Gulping Goliath, the Mega Toad. So, like the tiny toads, he spawns them, but he spawns a lot. So this overpowering croak deals damage. I died to a cave-in. I didn't think I was actually in that, but whatever. Basically, he spawns a bunch of tiny toads. Will chase you around and basically try to increase your stacks to 10. This toxic Alufia thing, I don't know, toxic pulse. I thought it gave you stacks, but it didn't seem to. It's basically just pulsing AoE damage. But the most important thing is the ads here. If you have Poison Cleanse Totem, try to drop it when he drops the ads. As you can see, I have like 4 on me. They do quite a bit of damage. It doesn't take long for the stacks to get up. But he also does something called Gulp. Basically, he'll put a circle around himself. Anyone or anything inside will get, in a sense, so all the toads will die if he eats them. If nothing gets eaten, then he gains an enrage effect. So you don't want that. So your tank always wants to make sure he's inside that circle whenever he does it. And you want to make sure as many toads as possible are in the circle as well. He'll also be doing belly slam throughout this whole fight. As you can see, he just jumps around and drops a swirly and then moves to that spot. You just got to get out of the way. As an enhanced shaman, you can use the little baby toad things as a funnel cleave. Drop save primordial wave, spread the flame shock, and use lightning bolt, and you gain a massive haste buff. But yeah, this boss is probably the easiest boss out of all of the whole dungeon. Actually, probably the easiest part of the whole dungeon. But onto this hallway. This is another dangerous one, especially on Fortified Week. These dragons do a lot of damage. They were recently nerfed by 50%. So the deep chill causes a magic dot on you. It used to tick every second, but now it ticks every 2 seconds. So they cut the damage in half. These the Tauren guys, the Tauren units, I'm not sure what their name is, but they do a Thunderclap. Basically, they drop a AoE circle on the ground, and if you're in it when it expires, it will explode and stun you. The Wind Callers drop these storm puddles that you're seeing, so they're quite annoying. They also cast Wind Buffet, or Buffet, I don't know what to call it. Basically that deals damage, and then one of the other ones, there's another unit in there, I'm not sure what it's called. Basically, they'll cast something called Refreshing Tides. If that goes off, it will either heal the group or heal a unit. I'm not sure which one it is. I think one goes off here, but I don't see it. Yeah, there it is. But I don't see it affect anything, so I'm not sure. All I know is it does heal. So you don't wanna let that off. Interrupt it, knock it up, stun them. Doesn't matter. Just try not to let it go off. All while this is happening, the dragon does the deep chill, and this oceanic breath. Don't stand on the tank. Simple as that. On to Cashin the Unyielding. Sorry. This boss is one of the bigger heal checks. Throughout the entire fight, you're constantly getting ticked for your HP. I think it's like, from what it looks like, it's like 5 to 10% every second and a half. It's a lot of damage. So basically what you want to look out for is Hailstorm here. This is the big effect. You want to hide behind a non-broken ice pillar. If you hide behind a broken ice pillar while that goes off, you will take extra damage because the ice pillar does explode. When an ice pillar explodes, it does deal AoE damage. So as you'll see here, the Glacial Surge, basically it's one of those go out, back in effects. It constantly pulses and it spawns the ice pillars. And then you have the Frost Cyclone. Basically, anybody hitting the path of that takes damage, and any ice pillar will be either broken or shattered. And if you're like within 10 yards of it, you will take damage of the broken one. So do be careful of where you're aiming it, and make sure you're not standing near a broken pillar ever. Basically, as long as you stay away from the broken ones, you'll be fine. During Hailstorm, make sure you're also not standing too close to a broken one, or you will probably die as well. It's definitely a difficult boss, especially on the healer, because of the constant taking damage. But that is the only damage you take during that phase. There is no surprise burst or anything, it's just constant AoE. So on to the Gauntlet hallway. So during this entire gauntlet, they are sending down waves that you have to dodge. There is no pattern to them. It can spawn every single wave on the left side or every single wave on the right side. Doesn't matter. You have to watch out. If you get hit by one, you won't die. You will be pushed back, but you will take a significant amount of damage. So if you're at 100%, you won't die. If you're at 90%, you probably will. But through this whole time, these little water elementals keep running down. They're also in the middle of packs. They don't do a heck of a lot. If the tidal divergence goes off, which they only cast when they reach 20%, they split into 4 tiny elementals. Other than that, they're casting Boiling Rage, which really doesn't do much. It enrages them, but they're so weak. Doesn't really matter. The only mob you have to watch for is the dragon. But once these all die, the mini boss spawns. This lady is a real nightmare on Fortified, as you'll see when we pull her. So the one effect that is the pain in the ass is the Inundate, or I don't know what you want to call it. Anyways, there is no way to dodge it. You cannot LOS it or anything. Inundate. I think that's what it said. It basically deals damage to you no matter what. Then she'll cast something called Flash Flood right there. It's an AoE circle. Basically, that'll knock you away, and if you fall off, you have to go back to the start of the gauntlet. It's a pain in the butt. Then she casts some barrier, make sure you interrupt that. Simple as can be. I believe we let that guy sit there, and then he does split in a bunch of things, so yeah. But anyways, on to the Primal Tsunami. This guy is weird. I die a couple times due to some weird, I'm not sure what you want to call it, but it's a weird interaction between Tank Buster and tank positioning. Basically, he will knock the tank back and cast a, like, I don't know what it's called. I call it Hydro Pump. And then basically constantly deals damage to the tank. If you're a warrior, you can spell reflect that, so quick tip. Anyways, on to this little intermission phase. Do this as many times as he reaches full power. Basically, you dodge the orbs and you dodge the waves. It's a real pain in the butt. You cannot touch the orbs. If you touch the orb, you will take a lot of damage. But during this phase, these primalists will cast Infuse. Try to use some sort of hard CC on them to stop them from casting and work on the other ones. These also cast Inundate, which is the same as the big primalist. Basically, you have to stun or knock them up, something like that, and that will prevent it from going off. The mini boss, you cannot stop it. It will go off no matter what. These ones you can stop. So the boss will come back up. Basically, you'll spawn some orbs. Just like in phase 1, he spawns orbs on the ground. If you touch them, you will take a lot of damage. When they explode, you will also take a lot of damage. So just stay the heck away from them as much as possible. Yeah, see? Why did he auto-attack me there? It's silly. It didn't make sense. He was casting his thingy, and he just went whap. I don't get it. Anyways, I died there. Then he keeps turning to me every time Grump slightly steps out, which scares the crap out of me. But yeah, I think I almost die a second time too. But anyways, another submerge phase, basically the same thing. Really gotta be careful here. As you can see, I'm risking a lot by, I'm really cutting it close. But as soon as someone reaches the end, the waves stop spawning. So try to get there as fast as possible. As you see, I hex one of the guys just to stop the infuse cast. These, so the longer the infuse cast goes off, the more damage the primary boss is gonna do. So for every whatever amount they cast into him, he gains a stack of damage. I don't know why I died there. I think 2 inundates went off. I actually didn't know I died there. Wow. I'm the one playing and I didn't know that. But anyways, we lost here and he should die, I hope. I think so. I don't think we got a 4th one, but the Squall Buffet and the Focus Deluge, those are the only things you gotta watch for. That's your tank. If he doesn't get back in time, he's gonna blast somebody else with that thing, and it's not nice. But yeah, that is Halls of Infusion. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.